I spent $1,600 on a new suspension, and today we're gonna talk about it. Do you guys like that? That Mr. Beast style intro? All right, we spent $1,600 on a new Bilstein suspension, new shocks for my truck. Today, we're gonna talk about 4 things. We're gonna go over why I bought them, what kind of shocks I went with, how the install went, and testing them out, right? So once you have a new piece of gear like this, you gotta take it out, you gotta test it, off-road, on-road, have a lot of fun with it. So let's really jump into it. So the shocks that I went with were from shocksurplus.com, not a sponsor or anything. However, it was a convenient way to buy these shocks. As a newbie, as a beginner, I've never bought shocks before, never upgraded anything this big on a vehicle. So I really needed something easy that kind of dumbed it down for me. And after doing some research online, figuring out what I would like for my truck, I settled on the 6112s and 5160s in the rear with the reservoir back there. I found that this fit a couple of things for me. Biggest one being budget. I had just that $1,600 to play with. So in my cart was the bracket for the reservoir as well as the new shocks. So that knocked it out of the park there. We hit our goal on our budget, right? Right at the line anyway. And I went with Bilstein because that's what was on this truck when I first bought it. Now, I think after doing some reading online, Bilstein is the way to go for longevity, for reliability, and for the best handling off-road and on pavement. Leave your thoughts down in the comments. We could talk about it. I have, like I said, 0 experience in this world. For those of you who do have more experience than I do, like about shocks, Kings, Ranchero, Icon, I know there's a ton out there. Let's talk about it, right? Let's leave it down in the comments. That's what we're here for. So back to my Bilstein setup. I had 5100s previously on this truck and they were awesome. I mean, they killed it at the beginning of me owning this truck. We'll get into the later part of me owning this truck. Another big why on why I bought these was because my suspension was broken. As you'll see with the old suspension, the bushings were shot. The back suspension especially, the gaskets had broke, the seal had broke, whatever. All the pressure, all the oil and whatnot had just been leaking with every single bump. More fluid, more pressure leaked out of the shocks, and my rear suspension was gone. I would go over a little speed bump in the parking lot, and I kid you not, I would be bouncing like a solid 3 or 4 bounces after the speed bump. It was so bad. My wife and my best friend, I mean, they would say the same thing after riding in it when the suspension was broken. It was just gone. It was time for something new. But I noticed that going from like an OEM truck suspension to a 5100 setup when I first bought this truck was insane. The dips and divots and the rocks crawling over them, hitting bumps. I mean, everything that you could expect a suspension to be there for, it killed it, knocked it out of the park. And as we go into this video, you'll see that that's what this has also done, just so much more better. Is that even a correct sentence? Because it's a bigger bodied shock, it's a 2.6 inch bodied shock. That means in the fronts, I have a bigger diameter of shock, meaning from what I know, again, keeping in mind from what I know, meaning that it's going to dampen, handle, and just overall perform so much better because there's more there for my suspension to handle, right? Now in the back with the 5160s and the reservoir, I thought it looked pretty freaking cool as well as it's going to keep the fluid, the oil that's in there cooled down. That's what the reservoir is for. From what I've learned, with it being a 5160, it's not taking as much load back here. For me, anyway, I'm not towing a whole ton. I'm not towing a bunch. I am just loading camping gear in the back of my truck and going for it, right? So it fit my budget, looks pretty freaking cool, and it handles everything that I'm going to throw at it. That's where the decision making really came in for me in buying this Bilstein setup. And after all the B-roll shots, I'm sure you guys will agree with me. At least that's what I hope anyway. I mean, time for some new upper control arms, that's next, but they were really easy to install. That's just the Tacoma platform for you. I absolutely love them. So let's go ahead, let's jump into how the install went now that we've touched on it a little bit. I don't know why. I feel like we're gonna have to squat down and talk to you about the install. Anyway, if you're interested in the tire setup, I also have a video down below. But I said that it was so easy to install, but that's just the Tacoma platform for you, right? If you've been wrenching and DIYing on your Tacoma, you know it's pretty easy. It's pretty simple to do a lot of upgrades, even when it comes to suspension. If you did watch my how-to video, thank you so much. Here's a few clips that weren't in that video. You know you're doing it right when you got to get the grinder out, right? You guys won't see this in the how-to video, but focus. There we go. I had to cut that bolt off. I had to cut the nut off to get this out of there. It was stuck up in that pocket, so. And no, I did not cause that with the grinder. I actually have no idea what that is from. Whether this was just so bad that the actual shock was rubbing against my truck, I don't know. But that's not from the grinder. The grinder was being used up here. So, anyway, a little detour in the install, but gotta do what you gotta do. Even though I ran into a couple of snags, I enjoyed it so much. It was fun working with my dad. It was fun DIYing a project. If you guys know me, it's one of the things I enjoy most in life. I had a blast, and what's so cool about Shock Surplus, where I bought these as well as Bilstein, is they come ready to go, right? So it really did make it a bolt off, bolt on job. And who doesn't love that sort of job, right? We were in and out. I mean, it did take a day to do all four, but at the same time, it only took a day to install, right? And I couldn't be more happy with it. The install went really smoothly and everything works great. That's honestly the best you could probably hope for when it comes to doing something to your truck that's big like this, right? We weren't out of commission for any period of time. Now let's go ahead. Let's test these bad boys, right? I've already done some driving off-road. I'll throw in some clips, you'll see. But that was the most fun part for me, right? You throw in a new suspension, you throw in a big part like that. We went off-road, we went on-road. I got up to freeway speeds, and as expected, it blew my mind out of the water. So going from something broken like that, getting used to that broken suspension, because I mean, it was months before I had to get this thing fixed, before I had the money and the time to get this thing fixed, that I was riding on a broken rear suspension and going off-road on pavement, getting used to that, right? And then going to a new suspension like this, of course, it's gonna blow my mind out of the water and really show how bad it was and how good having a new suspension and the suspension really was. So testing them out, that's really where that shined for me. But I really wanted to get into that, when it came to testing these things out, going from broke to brand new, so much better. And it's obviously gonna be expected to perform so much better, right? I mean, at least you want it to, right? You install something new and big, like new shocks, you want it. I mean, you almost expect it to handle so much better off-road on pavement versus your old ones. So I know we just talked about going on rougher, bigger, crazier, rockier stuff on the suspension, but I mean, check this out. Even a super maintained road like this, I don't ever recommend it, but I could freaking cruise down a road like this, no problem. I mean, by myself, it's not an issue going fast and having fun in your truck. Like I said, I'm not recommending going crazy on off-road trails and getting yourself into trouble, but on maintained roads like this, smoother dirt roads that have no issues with big rocks in them, the new shocks not only allow me to go faster, but when there is maybe a little dip or whatnot in the road, handles it like it's nothing, handles it like butter. I cannot exaggerate how cool it is, I guess you could say, going from 5100s to a bigger shock system like this. With the 5100s, I might have had to slow down into that dip, but with these, it has added that level of confidence on an easy road like this as well, where I can just fly through it, which is so nice, right? Having to just trust your truck and take out any of that uneasiness that maybe that bump in front of you is gonna, throw you around is huge. It's so awesome. I wish I could have you guys in the passenger seat with me, and you'll be able to tell, you'll be able to feel exactly what I'm talking about. But I love going down maintained roads now because I can just have fun with it. I can trust my truck, my shocks, just have a comfortable ride off-road. not have to slow down as much, use my brakes as much, and just have a good time overlanding and off-roading. So cool. If you're thinking about doing some new upgrades to your truck, be sure to use the links down below. Show your support. I really appreciate you guys watching the video, showing your support, commenting, discussing stuff like this. It's one of the more fun things about this channel when we get into talking about this kind of stuff. For you guys, subscribing, liking the video, showing your support means the absolute world to me. Be sure to check out those other videos and gear. We'll see you guys in the next one.